In case you guys haven't noticed, it's pretty much guaranteed that Donald Trump is going to be the nominee for the Republican Party. Now, this does leave a lot of people wondering who is going to be Trump's number two. There's plenty of contestants out there. I don't know who that is, but I know who it's not going to be. And that's going to be a senator named Tim Scott from South Carolina. Now, for those of you who don't know who Tim Scott is, he is a black Republican senator from South Carolina. He's in his late 50s and he's never been married. And to anyone's knowledge, he's never been in relationships either, which has led to a lot of rumors that he might perhaps be gay. Which, for every one of us listening, that's going to be no problem at all. But he is a conservative Republican. And even though it's become very cliche for them to say over the last 10 years or so that they don't care who you're fucking, I mean, it's hilarious to hear because they very obviously do. And Tim Scott knows this as well. So out of nowhere, last year when he ran for president, he coincidentally found a girlfriend for the first time, which, hey, congrats to him. But it even better, even better when he lost the nomination and he was eyeing for the number two spot. He got engaged as well. He got engaged and then 2 or 3 days later went to celebrate with Donald Trump. And when I said that I have a feeling he's eyeing for the VP spot, I got that idea from the Washington Post article that shared pictures of his engagement, pictures that he sent into the newspaper to celebrate his announcement. So that's pretty fascinating to me. It's interesting to see where this is gonna end up. As if Trump does pick him for VP and he does win, is he gonna commit to the bit and actually get married? And if he doesn't get the nomination, which I don't suspect he will, what's going to happen there? Like, I'm going to be fascinated how this turns out either way. But Leah, what are your thoughts on either, Senator Tim Scott or any other picks that Trump might have?
Okay, well, first and foremost, Tim Scott, I think that in your description, something that you forgot to mention is that his personality, for a lack of a better word, is non-existent. It's like watching a brick wall most of the time. It's not engaging. He's not like really, he's not engaging. And so that aside, the way that he went about in the one that I read was the New York Magazine article, but the way that he went about leaking the story of him getting engaged was in the third person. He said that his fiance was spotted having a ring while out. And it's like, if you're the one leaking it, like, I know that he's getting buddy up with Donald Trump, who also used to leak info about him and like get on the phone with his regular voice and be like, this is Donald Trump's assistant calling in. Like, no, if it's your voice, we know who it is. But it's one of those things where it's like, if you're going to be the one leaking it, why not just give the story? Why not also boost yourself up instead of just like even the way that he described it was just so dry. Like, I'm telling you, brick wall. And I do think that it is kind of funny. I don't know what the term is. Maybe you guys can help me out. But at least I think that with us gays, for girls, it's beards. But
It's
what is
beard,
the
yeah.
term? It is
Yeah,
just
same
beard.
thing.
Beard
Yep.
is non-gendered. Sick. Um, but yeah, that's honestly all I keep on thinking about is how do you have that conversation of like, hear me out here. I'm shooting for president. Everyone thinks I'm gay. Could you do me a solid?
Right. How did that conversation go? I would a king's ransom to be the fly on the wall in that conversation. I'd love to hear what happened there. And Leah,
his monotone voice, like, God, just no emotion, no excitement, just like, I need this.
I was born to be leader of the free world. Can't you tell? But Leah, you were talking about like how dry and just like, charisma free Tim Scott is. I'll tell you what, that actually is the only thing in his favor for Trump picking him as VP, because I don't think Trump will pick anyone who could possibly outshine him. Like even the possibility of he's not. But this is kind of a side note here about Tim Scott. I swear I'm not going to spend the whole time talking about him. But Tim Scott, when I hear him talk, I start to think, okay, maybe he's not gay. Maybe he's never had a girl because he's the most rizzless motherfucker on the face of the earth. Like the guy, like there's no
You're
way that
not
guy
wrong.
there's no way that guy can spit game. Zero chance. And also the guy you're thinking of, Leah, when you mentioned how Trump would call in, I didn't think of it. It's pretty funny, brother. John Barron was the fake name he came up for himself. It was John Barron. That's the name that he would use. But all right. John, what you got for us here? I think you got some predictions.
Yeah, so let me tell you guys. This week has been rough for me. I did not get to spend as much time researching this topic as I wanted to today. That being said, it really didn't take me long to figure out exactly who Donald Trump is going to be for president. I'm going to walk you through the thought process that I used because I'm making a mortal lock,
All
right?
right.
So, first, I went to Odds Checker and I was like, okay, so who are the betting favorites for the VP pick? Number 1 is Elise Stefanik. Number 2 is Kristi Noem. Number 3 is Vivek Ramaswamy. At that point, I kind of stopped caring because if Vivek Ramaswamy is getting better odds than you, you're probably not getting to be the VP. So I was like, okay, Christina Noem and Elise Stefanik. It makes sense for Trump to pick a woman, for a plethora of reasons, and definitely want to get away from the boring old white man that he picked last time that didn't quite work out for him. So I just looked up pictures of those two women, and the Elise Stefanik, not terrible. But Kristi Noem is quite a looker, and I'm gonna bet my life that it's Kristi Noem as
the worst part. The worst part is that you're not wrong.
I'm not joking.
Damn good.
You're not
it's great.
wrong. Like that's something that I will admit that in all, like, I know that you mentioned before recording that you were like, I have more to lock. Never in a million years could I have guessed that was the strategy, but now that you've described it, I'm convinced.
This is how it works. Look, look at all the Fox News reporters.
It says it all.
look
at she's literally said that. Yeah.
Who was Trump's? What was her name? Trump's secretary. Press secretary.
Something.
Yeah,
press secretary.
Not the first
Jenna
two.
Ellis.
There was Scaramucci that was there for whatever, and then before her was that guy that Melissa McCarthy liked to play on Saturday Night Live. That was really funny. But the girl after those two that was there for a long time.
Was it
like,
Jenna Ellis?
Yeah, I think Jenna Ellis. I was like, of course, she looks exactly like a Fox News reporter. Like it was like, this wasn't surprising at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I don't know. This is not political analysis so much as it's just knowing Donald Trump analysis.
Yeah, I mean that counts, and that's like Mia said, that is a great, because listen, I hadn't thought that. I think Noam is a good choice. I thought that's who I would guess too. I didn't use that strategy, but I had used it before when everyone was talking about if Trump was going to, or if Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert were trying to saddle up be Trump's VP. I was like, okay, between those two, he's picking Boebert. If one of those two, it's definitely going to be Boebert. I'll tell you that. And you mentioned Mike Pence, and I thought about this with the Tim Scott thing. I'm surprised to bring it back to Tim Scott, but Tim Scott, if you're by any chance, if you're watching this video, Tim, listen to me, a black man to black man, that Mike Pence was the last president or vice president that Trump had. And bro, if they were willing to hang Mike Pence, I think they're going to be more than happy to get rid of you should the situation occur. So just watch out for your safety, man. But no, I do like the Kristi Noem pick. That's who I was leaning towards as well. Elise Stefanik, she's just more annoying. Like Kristi Noem just seems a lot more even keel than Elise Stefanik. But I do like that choice. What do you think?
Seems like she'll make Trump a sandwich without complaining.
Yeah, exactly. She's more submissive.
Not gonna lie, I hadn't ever seen Kristi before. I've heard her name, and obviously, I've heard of her, but I don't spend my time really. Yeah, I agree with you now.
Yeah,
is basically my point. And that's also just because that's a part of what bothers me so much is that, and this is maybe a sidestep, but it bothers me that even in the articles to find a picture of her that I was looking, because I just Googled Trump VP pick, Tim Scott was number 2 on that list. It was Nikki Haley. This was Business Insider. Nikki Haley, Tim Scott. And it's just can we all be realistic for 5 seconds here? It's not Nikki Haley.
No,
and it's not Tim Scott. Nikki Haley is the lone wolf that is still calling him out of being I would beat Biden in a landslide. You are iffy, however, you still are likely to beat Biden. And it's I don't understand why we don't take these considerations into mind, and and I know why actually, of why the media wouldn't actually just be so honest about it, and it's just going to be about who he finds pretty at the end of the day, or just what he's feeling that day, honestly. And I think that that's just something that I wish that we were more brutally honest about, because Like, it's not going to be Tim Scott. It's just
It's not
not.
going to be Tim Scott. It's not.
I just have to say, thank God that Republicans are not going to nominate a woman for their presidential ticket, because Nikki Haley would choke Biden out with his own life.
She would.
Necklace.
She'd crush him.
Like, she would destroy him.
Like, she's right when
completely
she's
right.
saying it. It's just that's why he's not going to choose you. Is like you said, it's not even just outshine him personality wise. Of like, the Vivek is trying too hard to be the next one in line, so he doesn't want that. Wait, what do you guys feel about him? I know that he's mentioned committing to a woman. However, it's Donald Trump. He mentions many things.
Clearly has had issues committing to women in the past.
So, with all of that in mind, do you think that there's any chance that he tries to, one, do a double whammy and go with Ivanka? Not that there is like any political credibility of it, or two, going with one of his sons. And the reason why I say that is because he is getting old. There is the conversation of who is going to pick up the mantle after he, goes on a long vacation, the same one that hopefully Joe Biden goes on. And so, like, with those long vacations in mind, who's going to step in? And I wonder if preemptively he's going to want to put it in the favor of keeping it within his family. And VP pick would be a solid place to do that.
Sorry.
So I'm just curious.
So I hadn't thought about that. I mean, I had thought about, Trump dying in office, or, the funniest outcome is if Trump and Biden both die before the election. That's what we deserve. It is. But as far as him picking I hadn't thought about that, him pulling a Frank Underwood. I don't think he could pick Melania, because I don't think Melania was born here, so she couldn't be president.
Plus, he doesn't even like Melania.
Ivanka.
Ivanka. And Melania also, to be fair, does not want to spend that much time close to this man.
True. Yeah, true. She doesn't want to. But Ivanka, you're right.
Ivanka, especially with the way that he's talked about her, like, in the past,
she could be first lady as well.
I have to say,
as far as Trump is concerned,
Ivanka is plus 18,900 on odds checker. I would place $10 on that.
That's not a
those are good odds.
That's
like,
good.
I don't think it's likely, but I think.
But Ivanka wouldn't want it either. Like, she said that she's not even coming back for this term if he wins. Like, she said she's done.
We'll wait until the VP is offered to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, she'll come back for a better gig. But the boys would take it, but I'm not sure he would want them, because they're a lot dumber than Ivanka. But
they do have a lot of energy, though, thanks to certain substances.
No, Don Jr.
There's no way it's Don Jr. There's no way it's Don Jr. You guys watch Secession?
No, I haven't seen it.
Well, never mind. Well, anyone in our audience who watches Secession, I swear to God, Don Jr. is Ken. Like he has no respect for him whatsoever. He's always trying to earn Daddy's approval and never gets it, because he loves Ivanka too much. But is too sexist to ever give Ivanka an official title.
Well, I mean, listen, like, the Trump kids are really interesting to me. Ivanka is the smart one. Don Jr. is the insane, crazy one. Eric is I describe him as like, he's kind of like the T-1000 without the superpowers. Like, you can tell that it's supposed to be a human, but the way he moves and talks is just so bizarre. It's really off-putting. And but he does like Ivanka. He respects her. And Don Jr. trying to get his daddy's respect is it's so fun to watch. And like, he told the story.
Sad. I don't feel sympathy for him at all. But I will say that seeing just the way that, honestly, people just interact around Trump in general, of how desperate they become for his approval, to Scott included, to go as far as proposing to this woman who even his close friends in the article described that they were like, I've never heard of her.
Never seen
never heard of her, never seen her, don't know anything about this. Like, you have to be a certain kind of someone for your friends to rat you out and be like, yes, this isn't real. So, like, for him to go those lengths to get Donald Trump's approval, like, why do you, like, I get that he has so much power, but like, y'all, it's Donald Trump.
What's it? Yeah, come on. Like, nothing is worth, like, Ted Cruz, like, letting him like insult you and your wife like that.
DeSantis too. DeSantis turned, and DeSantis was just like, yeah, I'm bending the knee.
This, which is really funny, coming from like the party of masculine alpha men who are just can't wait to subjugate themselves to this, orange ape that's just flinging feces all around the White House. I know it is weird. It is pretty odd. But
it's in 2016, we're talking about Stefanik, right? And in 2016, she literally refused to say Trump's name.
Yes.
She said, "I'll pledge my support to our party's nominee." And
It
now she's like, let me be your VP."
It
Yeah.
is incredible to go back to 2015 and read what like every
Hmm.
single Republican said about Trump, that they were all correct, that this guy's a cancer on the party. He's going to destroy everything. He doesn't care about anything. Lindsey Graham just castigated the
Hmm.
guy, up and down, left and right. And now he's the biggest Trump supporter, east of the Mississippi. And I don't know. It's pretty fun to watch. Go ahead.
But that's also the same thing with Tucker Carlson, like with
Yep.
the case that came out against Fox News, where then we
Hmm.
got all of the records from behind the scenes of him being like, I hate Donald Trump. I never want him to be president again. And then he comes around and he's like, no, Trump, can you come on my show, please? I would
Yeah.
love to. I'm not going to go into dirty details, but he really does just want to stroke him in many different ways.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's the fact that it's one grifting for a lot of these people in the sense that they don't even actually think that highly of Trump. It's just that they
No.
want the power grab. That's it.
Hmm.
And that I think is part of what bothers me about it, but obviously that's nothing new to the Republican Party. But the thing that ultimately is just like, when we talk about, I don't know if you guys saw the Trump recent ad that came out about him being old and senile, and
Yeah.
about Biden, and they're both going
Hmm.
at each other now, and Nikki Haley is obviously taking advantage of that, being like, I'm the young one. And I think that that's just one of the things with Trump, is that ultimately we are falling head over heels for these geriatric dudes who are not even going to be around for the next 10 years. And you are throwing away your entire political career. Not that that's really that bad, because obviously this is a move for them, but it's like, to side with this, I guess capital really does corrupt. I don't know. Nothing new over here. No new realizations.
All right, guys, thank you so much. If you've made it to this point in the show, that means you made it to the end, and the algorithm is going to send you more of our recommendations, and they're also going to send your friends more of our recommendations. So thank you so much. It really is the best thing that you can do for us, is to watch this long. And if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. That is the second best thing you can do for us. Before you go, I want to make sure that you get a chance to go follow Leah, our excellent guest, on all her socials. So Leah, how about you tell the audience where they can find you?
Yeah, so on TikTok, I go by Petite Leah. So it's PTITE.LIA. I'm French, so sorry that I made that complicated. And then on Instagram, I go by Socialist Sloots, which I always forget that I'm going to have to say that forever and here on out loud. But it is Socialist, just regular, SLOOTS. So that's on me and bad decisions made in the past. But here we are.
Folks, you just witnessed three of the greatest content creators you can find on the World Wide Web. And whether your language is, English, a base Germanic-based language, or French, a beautiful, Latin-based language, be sure to follow all three of us and follow this page. Like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends and family. We'd appreciate it, and so would they.